Welcome back everybody. With the lowboy carcass done, it's now time that I focused on making all the drawers. Here you can see the main parts that I'm going to use. As always, each part will have to be flattened and untwisted and then brought up to the same thickness and length at the end of the day before we can actually use them. Here I'm busy basically flattening one of the long pieces, checking to see here if the board is untwisted. Twist is usually the main enemy of making things actually fit together at the end of the day. Alright, so now here are all the pieces that we made. Everything is now ready, set to be assembled together. As with most of my drawers, the sides are going to be dovetailed. So here I'm basically cutting out the tails for the side pieces, and then they're going to be matched to the front as whole flap dovetails and to the back as full frontal dovetails. This is one of the front pieces. So here I've matched now the sides of the dovetails, and as I said previously, they're going to be whole flap dovetails. So now I'm just basically sawing out the sides, and then the rest are going to be carved out. This is one of the last steps in making the whole flap dovetails, basically just paring out all the remaining waste to ensure that it will have a nice tight and even fit. So here I'm basically testing out a piece just to see if it will have a nice fit, and if there's any adjustments to be made, then during this process I will untap the piece and then make the adjustments and then tap it in again and so forth until I'm happy with the result. This is one of the back pieces. As I also said earlier, these ones are not going to be whole flap dovetails but fully go through, so these ones are much easier and quicker to make at the end of the day. I'm adding these grooves to the side panels as well as to the front panel, basically to fit in the bottom piece of each drawer, so it will have enough movement space for when it basically absorbs moisture and releases moisture at the end of the day. The last step is just to give the front pieces a nice chamfer around all of the edges, just to give it a little bit of a better look at the end of the day before we're going to assemble. And this is the assembled piece. I love using these clamps. They make it much easier to basically glue up and clamp drawers like this. So it's much easier also to check for squareness. If it's out of alignment, you just sort of shift piece left or right until you're happy. As we can see here, this is the bottoms of one of the drawers. I'm just fitting it in now to test if it will fit nicely, and then it will be glued into place. So these pieces are the stoppers for each drawer, so that the user won't slide it in all the way to the back. Usually I put the stoppers into the front, but I didn't have enough space for that, so I decided just to put it in the back, and I can actually put in nice chunky pieces for all the fits. Okay, so this is going to be our Rosetta that I'm going to put on the front lid, the one in the center. And the idea is here I'm going to use a round knob. So for now it's going to go inside here. The idea is basically going to be this is going to curve inwards. I'm going to carve it out so it actually slants down. So you'll actually see more of the button, or that's the idea at the end. And of course this will be cut out to make the Rosetta show that it's actually blooming out of the front of the cabinet. So let's get to work. Alright, so now we've done basically the center of the Rosetta. So I skipped all the boring parts, basically just carved it out in a basically like a bowl shaped here, and then added all the petals of the center of the Rosetta. And yeah, so the bulk of the work is done. Now that all the cutouts are complete, now it's just basically to shape each of the leaves so that they go down into the board or to the floor, to give it a bit of more 3D aesthetic. And just to illustrate, this is how the center knob's going to go, so you can pull it out of the cupboard. So yeah, let's go to the next step then. I've completed the Rosetta, and now I'm just doing a test fit or a dry test fit just to see if I'm happy with the result. So here you can see putting it on the front box and then just screwing in the knob to see it will have a nice fit before I glue it up finally. And here we go. As we can see, each piece fits perfectly, and I'm very happy with the result. Everything is nice and smooth. So now the next task, or in the next part of the video series, I'm going to concentrate on making the top of the lowboy actually. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.